Hi, I'm Mike Bush. One of the reasons our results are so good.
If the beam drifts along the vehicle in the direction of travel while it's firing, the gun is fooled into thinking the vehicle is travelling faster than it actually is. Just watch this. Stationary car, what do you do?
Well, I have a stationary car, I've got a speed meter, let's see how fast the car's going. 8 miles an hour.
That's what enables us to do what we're here to do. And we all know what that is.
We do make mistakes. We're not perfect.
Part 4. Self-paced test. Radar. What are the 3 units that comprise traffic radar? 1. 2. There are 3 things that can happen to radar wave. What are they? How can you minimise the cosine effect when using a radar? Who is permitted to use radar speed enforcement equipment? What is the antenna component of the traffic radar used for? Does the width of the beam remain the same the further from the transmitter is emitted? What factors can affect radar range? How can an operator reduce the target range? What effect does the vehicle's size and shape have on the strength of the signal that's reflected? There are 2 major things that you need to consider when selecting stationary operating sites. What are they? Establishing tracking history for all radar speeds checks requires 3 elements. What are they? Within each of these 3 elements required to establish a tracking history, there are a number of parts. Detail what are these for each tracking history element. What are the tuning forks used for? What is the Doppler shift? Why is a certified speedo required when operating traffic radar? What reasons are there for the loss of ground speed? The dickhead not operating his ship correctly? Is it a requirement to lock every speed reading when conducted? Introduction. Part 5. Laser. So that was all the radar. Here's the laser. Introduction. Laser is an acronym for light amplification by simulated emission of radiation. A laser is a concentrated light energy into a narrow beam. Principle of laser energy. To better understand how laser energy operates, it helps to understand the principles of light. Really? Light is defined in wavelengths similar to radio waves. No kidding. The shorter the wavelength, the higher the frequency. The visible light falls into a fairly narrow section of the electromagnetic wave spectrum with infrared light at one end and the longest wavelength is the ultraviolet light at the other end. As with radio waves, light waves can be reflected, refracted or absorbed. Reflection of light is commonly seen in a day-to-day life. Refraction of light is when light is bent. Absorption of light is incorporated into the surroundings. Key information. A laser is a concentrated light energy into a high-intensity narrow beam. Lasers. To build a laser, we begin with a light source. This is placed into a small cavity, probably their ass, with 2 mirrors facing each other with the light source in between. As the light reflects from one mirror to the other, it passes through the light source and concentrates its energy. Laser light is found only in technology, never in nature. The beam used is very narrow, much narrower than the light source, such as a torch. It is also monochromatic, a single wavelength and colour, and it is a narrow beam, expands only slightly over distance. Traffic laser. While traffic laser and radar have much in common, there are also many differences. Similarities and differences are highlighted throughout this section of the module. The traffic laser is an adaptation of the laser to measure vehicle speed. From the traffic laser unit, light is directed through focusing lenses towards the intended target. The traffic laser beam is very small. Instead of radiating out like a torchlight or radar beam, the line of the laser is very straight with little divergence. You see these guys using the laser detectors when they're standing on the side of the road of a busy motorway trying to catch the speeders. Have you ever tried to stand still on a motorway with cars going past you at 100 kilometres an hour? It ain't that easy to stay still. But yet, we'll move on. It's not like that would affect the accuracy or anything now, is it? This allows the operator to aim the traffic laser at target vehicles much further away than when using traffic radar, with very high levels of accuracy. Components. Unlike the traffic radar, the traffic laser is one unit. This laser unit transmits the laser beam and receives it. The internal computer calculates the target vehicle from speed and the changing distance readings received. How it works. The operator aims the traffic laser at the target vehicle using the unit's aiming device. The laser beam is emitted in pulses. When each laser pulse makes contact with the target vehicle, the laser beam is reflected back to the laser unit. The internal computer calculates the time between each pulse and the change in distance between the unit and target vehicle. This enables the computer to accurately calculate the change in each pulse, time and distance, and provides a readout of the target vehicle's speed. The traffic laser can be used to check the speeds of vehicles approaching the laser when the vehicles are not moving away from the laser. Where vehicles are moving away from the unit, this is indicated by a sign in the display. Beam range. In theory, so we're not using back. The laser beam will continue outward for an indefinite distance. However, in reality, the beam range is the distance that the laser beam can be reflected back from the target to the laser, normally about 800 metres. So it's less than a kilometre. So it's less than the radar. Measurement of distance. Traffic laser devices can be used to measure distances. The accuracy of this type of device is limited to plus or minus 1 metre over all distances displayed. It may be used in this way at a crash scene and for engineering purposes. Key information. The laser beam extends outwards for an indefinite distance unless it is reflected or refracted. Site selection. Listening. There are a number of things that need to be taken into account when selecting a laser operating site, including 1. The cosine angle. 2. Having a clear line of sight. 3. Weather conditions. 4. Whether the operation is from inside the patrol vehicle, because they're shooting it through glass, tinted glass that may cause refraction. Movement of the unit. So in other words, if they're having a dance or the guy moves around inside the vehicle, that affects the accuracy now. Key information. When selecting an operating site, the operator needs to consider the cosine angle, having a clear line of sight, weather conditions, whether the operation is from inside the patrol vehicle, and movement of the unit. Cosine angle. As explained in the radar section, the cosine angle is the angle between the operator and the beam and the position of the traffic laser to the roadway creates an angle that reduces the speed reading of the target vehicle. The greater the angle, the greater the effective speed reading. While the angle cannot be eliminated, to do so the operator would need to be in the middle of the road. Well, I'm fine with that. Certainly cut down the amount of radar operators we have. It can be minimised by the operator's careful positioning and aim. Key information. Correct sighting of the laser minimises the cosine effect. Clear line of sight. The operator must have a clear line of sight to the target vehicle. That means the operator must see the target vehicle clearly throughout the speed check. If their line of sight is blocked or temporarily interfered with, the computer will disregard all data and no speed reading will be displayed. If the operator can see the object, the laser can see the object, and if the operator cannot see the object, the laser will not see the object either. Really? They needed to explain line of sight that much? I would have thought that's self-evident. Key information. There must be clear line of sight to the target vehicle. No shit. Weather conditions. Weather conditions are an important consideration in the operation of the traffic laser. Fog, snow and heavy rain have the potential to interfere with the laser's operation. Therefore, traffic laser is not to be used in fog, snow or heavy rain. Key information. Traffic laser is not to be used in fog, snow or rain. Operation from inside vehicles. The windscreen and side windows of the patrol vehicle can affect the maximum range of the traffic laser. While the system is designed to operate through windows, window tinting, infrared and ultraviolet protections can reduce the effective range of the traffic laser. However, while range is affected, the accuracy of the speed reading is not. While tinting affects a laser, if you shine light through a separate or a different medium, that medium will have an effect on it. So, as for the accuracy, I would question that seriously. The best way to use the traffic laser is outside the vehicle or through an open vehicle window. Why would they say that's the best way? If there's no effect, if it doesn't affect the accuracy and it only affects the range, why say use it without the window? Could it be that they know it's effective? What can I say? Movement of vehicle. The operator's movement will affect the traffic laser. So standing on the side of the road, getting blown by 100 km/h cars passing by, might affect it. Where the device is not held firm, keeping motion to a minimum, the unit will not display a speed reading. The reading will return when the device is stabilized. Other factors. A sweep effect occurs when the operator changes aiming points. And that's what they call the slip effect in my videos, where I show you the guys firing the lasers at the size of the vehicle and getting a lot higher reading. A sweep effect occurs when the operator changes aiming points while conducting a vehicle speed check. When this happens, the unit will not display a reading. To prevent this happening, the operator must aim at a single point on the target vehicle for the entire check. And if the target vehicle is moving, he's going to have to follow that point, and fuck me, didn't it just say it must be held firm? To minimise movement. You want to track something that's moving fast, you're moving with it. Do you get my point? It's all a scam. Reflection influences occur on very hot days by heat rising and causing reflection off the road or from water lying on the road. To avoid this influence, the operator should aim at the vehicle and pay attention to any changes in the speed reading. A good tracking history will verify the speed readings are correct. Night operation and headlights will reduce the range of the traffic laser. Headlights of newer model cars emit high levels of infrared light, so may interfere with the laser's ability to detect the reflected laser pulse. To avoid this problem, the operator should aim between the headlights at the number plate area on the target vehicle. Similar to using traffic radar, The range of laser beams will depend on the target vehicle's size and shape. A large truck acts as a very good reflector of signals, whereas a sports car with an aerodynamic design acts as a poor reflector. And I've even given you a pretty picture. Cute, huh? Part 6. Traffic laser. Introduction. The traffic laser can be operated only as a stationary device. It may be used from inside or outside the patrol vehicle. Key information: the traffic laser can be used only inside a stationary device. Why they repeat themselves, I don't know. Operating procedures. To maximise the deterrent effect of speed detection through laser and ensure the safety of the public, the occupants of the target vehicle and police, the following guidelines have been deployed. Where traffic volumes are heavy, only vehicles travelling on the same side as the parked patrol vehicle are to be targeted. Motorcycle use. Lasers are not to be operated from motorcycles. Really? They had to say that? What a dickhead. Tracking history. Like the radar, the traffic laser is only a tool used by the officer. To establish that the speed check is accurate, the operator must establish a tracking history. For the target vehicle. Tracking history is obtained by 3 elements. Let's go through them again, shall we? Visual estimation of speed, audio tone confirmation, and comparison of the digital readout with the operator's estimate. So his best guess, hearing a tone and going, oh yeah, shit, no, that's what I guessed it was, I might have been 10k over, but fuck. Really? Key information. Tracking history must be established using the visual estimation of speed, audio tone confirmation, and comparison of the digital readout with the operator's estimated speed, if he's not asleep. Sources of interference. Unlike radar devices, interference sources such as radios and power lines do not have any effect on radar. Oh, but I thought they just said in the radar section that them and the New Zealand Testing Standards Authority have done tests and found it irrelevant and that they don't affect it. So I'll read that, but again, sources of interference. Unlike radar devices, interference sources such as radio and power lines do not have any effect on laser speed. Oh, so they do have an effect on radar then. Anything the operator can see, the laser can see. If the operator cannot see, the laser cannot see. For example, if smoke is blowing across the road and blocking the operator's view, the laser will be prevented from detecting a target through the smoke. Locking onto speed. Operators should lock on the speed reading and maintain it on the device until the offender has had the opportunity to view the reading. Okay, so they're saying that on a laser one, you have to lock it on so that the operator of the vehicle can see it. The only exception to this is when another officer is operating the device and is remote from the officer stopping the offender. In other words, they call Jim, go chase that cunt. In this case, a note should be made of the registered number of the vehicle speed and or distance and time. Recording speed readings. The speed and distance at which the vehicle was checked should be recorded on all offence notices. Are we listening? On all offence notices. For example, 100 kilometres an hour at 400 metres. Out of the now almost 70 speed camera deployment registrars that I've got, and out of the many speed camera tickets I've got throughout the years, not one of them has stated what distance it was detected at. Okay? That is not done. That is and a simple reason to get your ticket thrown out. They never jot down the distance you were detected at, because then they're going to have to verify how they came to that measurement. Targeting vehicles. Officers should target vehicles travelling on the same side of the road as the parked police vehicle in areas where traffic volumes are heavy. So we don't have dickheads like Neil pulling out in front of oncoming cars to chase the guy the other way, almost causing accidents himself. You know, if Neil ever actually grew a set and decided to come and apologise for running over my foot that day, all would be forgiven. I'm a very forgiving man. Operating position. Officers may operate the device from any position, provided a second patrol in radio contact is stationed on the road and is responsible for stopping the offenders. Okay? So this is if you've got two cops sitting on the side of the road doing the test. One does the click, the other guy does the chase. That doesn't pertain to stationary speed camera vehicles because they're using radar. They're not using a laser. Targeting traffic travelling both ways. On roads with low traffic volumes and speed restricted to no more than 70 kilometres an hour, officers may target vehicles travelling in any direction provided the method employed to stop the offender is safe for all parties. And then you've got a self-paced test here for the laser again. What sort of beam does a laser use? A laser beam? When selected a site for Operation Traffic Laser, what factors should be taken into consideration? The traffic laser should not be used in certain weather conditions. Name these conditions. What happens to the range if the laser is used through the windscreen of the patrol vehicle? What effects does using the laser through the windscreen of the patrol vehicle have on the accuracy of the unit's speed reading? Where on the target vehicle should the laser be aimed? What effect do power lines have on laser units? When operating a laser, how can the cosine effect be minimised? What effect does operator's movement have on the target vehicle speed reading? When operating laser devices at night, what additional factors should be considered? Those new LED headlights in those new cars, apparently they affect the laser. Something to note for all those people with flash cars. Describe the effect that vehicle size and shape has when the traffic laser is operated. Which mode may the traffic laser be operated in? Stationary mode, moving mode, or both? What elements are required to establish tracking history? See, this tracking history thing amazes me, because the tracking history is something they never do. You can't tell me, like in my example, that 762 vehicles he estimated speed, clicked, got Doppler tone and tracked each one of those vehicles, and he's going to remember 762 of those vehicles in that 3.5 hours. He's going to remember every single one of them to be able to give an accurate account in court if questioned. Bullshit. It's called test-lying. Alright? It's what they do.
$8 miles an hour.